It's been a couple of months since my last video, so in today's episode of Musing Maker, I'm going to catch you up on where I've been, what I've been knitting, and what's in store for my channel in the weeks to come. Hi, welcome to Musing Maker. I'm Harriet. I've been a knitter and crocheter for a little over 40 years now, and a couple of years ago I learned to spin and weave as well. This channel is where I come to talk about my various projects, challenges, and works in progress in the world of the fiber arts. I hope you'll come here and find interesting and useful things that enhance your own fiber arts journey, and that you'll like and subscribe and comment and return again and again. Today is actually the 1-year anniversary of the start of my channel, so I wanted to just start by giving a huge shout out to all the new subscribers who've joined over the last couple of months, and a huge thank you to all of you who've been with me on this exciting and at times a little bit nerve-wracking journey over the past couple of years. So that said, where have I been for the last 2 months? Well, believe it or not, I've been planning to post a video pretty much every week since the end of September, and for every week since the end of September, it seems like life has had other things in store for me. So I had a little virus in October that didn't last very long, but on its way out the door, it gave me a real scorcher of a case of pink eye. So if you've ever had pink eye, you know you don't look too good when you have it. And yeah, so I couldn't really record any videos for at least a week or so in October. And then alongside of all of this, I was also dealing with the fact that, as I mentioned in a video that I posted back in late April, one of my 3 kitties was diagnosed with a brain tumor. And so she actually became much more ill in late October and early November, and eventually passed away in mid-November. So we've kind of needed time to grieve that, right? As I'm sure all of you know, there are phases when, you know, you have a loss and you just really don't feel like being on camera when that's happening. So I've been spending a couple of weeks now helping everyone to heal. One of my other cats was very bonded with the kitty Juno, who's passed away. And if you're one of those people who you're not a cat person, or you thought cats couldn't bond with other cats, I'll put some photos here on the screen so you can sort of see the loss that my other kitty has been dealing with. So during all of that, I've been knitting. And so let's get started on that. Okay, so my first finished object is what I'm wearing right now, and that is my Ooey Gooey sweater by Andrea Mowry. And so I basically, this is a project that I, took on, I think I started this in August actually, but just finished it a couple of weeks ago. And I used yarn from Stash. So the gray on it is Rowan Island Fine in the color Tungsten. And the yoke of it, and I'll put a picture on the screen so you can sort of see the whole sweater, but the yoke of it is some hand spun that I did myself from 3 Waters Farms top of the month subscription, and this was the February colorway, and it's called Golden Petals. So I did a little bit of yarn management on this. I'm just holding this up so you can see the cuffs, right, which were slightly different, but I'm okay with that. But otherwise I kind of just let the colors on this sort of unfold as they unfolded. And I was really happy with it because when I spun this up, I kind of knew that it had a nice kind of autumnal feel to it. And so I felt like I just wanted to kind of see how it would play out in the sweater, and I'm happy with the result of that. So I knit this using a US size 2 and a US size 4. So that's a 2.75 millimeter needle for the cuffs and the yoke, the collar, and a US size 4, which is I think 3.75 for the rest of it. And yeah, yeah, I really enjoyed this pattern. Originally, I had wanted to I had some red alpaca. I was very determined when I picked this out that I was not going to purchase additional yarn to make it. I had some red alpaca that I thought I could use, but I'm actually really glad that I didn't. And because I think that what would have happened, like there's some bits of red in here, and that would have just really blended in. And so that actually brings me to the second project that I worked on. And this project came out of actually a virtual meeting of the Knitting Guild Association that I attended in, I think it was mid to late September. And so the topic of this virtual meeting, was using variegated yarns, and it was a presentation by the designer and knitter Mary Beth Jacobs. And so in the course of her presentation of talking about how to use variegated yarns, like two things happened. One is that she talked about how when you use a variegated yarn, you want to make sure that you have what she calls an anchor color. And so that actually helped click for me in terms of why the red would not have worked as well as I think the gray worked. So I was sort of surprised that I was able to use the gray yarn from Stash and kind of get a result that I liked as much. But I think that's because the gray really does function as an anchor color. So it allows all of the different contrasting yarns in this variegated skein of handspun that I have to show up. And if I had used the red alpaca that I had in mind, thinking that that would match better, right? That was my thinking. It would have matched, but yeah, it would have blended in with some of the red from the other colors and not really anchored the project as much. So I was kind of happy to kind of, put two and two together and think of it that way and realize that is something that had worked on this sweater for me and that, I can kind of carry moving forward. So the other thing during this presentation that Mary Beth Jacobs offered in talking about using variegated yarns, she put it's actually a free pattern, and it's called the Anise shawl, and it's a small shawl, and I will hold it up here. Okay, and so this is the shawl. I think I'm showing it the right. Yes, right side out. And I had originally started using this variegated yarn in making a textured pair of socks earlier in the year because I love the color of this yarn, but I really wasn't liking the way it was knitting up as a textured pair of socks. So I frogged it, pulled it out, set it aside, and then when I saw this, and that was one of the things that in Mary Beth Jacobs' presentation that she talked about, is that, never forget that lace work is often a good place to use a variegated yarn. And so I decided to use some of this variegated yarn in this particular project. And I'll put a link to the project pages for all of these projects in Ravelry down below. But as I mentioned, this is actually a free pattern, and it makes a nice small little shawl. And I think that, or a kind of neck covering of some sort. My plan is to maybe use it as a scarf during the winter. One of the things that I liked about it is that it also gave me a chance to learn how to make these little baubles. They're called noops. I think they're Estonian. I'll double check on that. But yeah, so it's a very simple pattern, right? Obviously, it's got a lot of, you use short row shaping for the stocking net portion, and it's just got a small lace portion. And I think it really shows off the variegated yarn really nicely, so I'm really happy with it. Okay, so my third finished object is a sort of home run for a knitter, and I will put a picture of it here because it was actually a gift knit for a friend, and it's the Beagle sweater by Nora Gaughan, and I knit it in Barocco Vintage in the color Spruce, and the recipient loves it, right? He absolutely loves it. So the picture that I'm putting up here was he had just received it and put it on and proceeded to wear it, I think, daily for about a week after that. So that was, that's always very gratifying as a knitter. I really enjoyed the pattern. It was not a particularly complicated pattern, but I think it created a really nice sweater. Okay, so now that we're caught up on everything that I've been working on over the past couple of months, I just wanted to take a couple of moments to talk about what's ahead for my channel in the upcoming weeks. I have a bunch of longer term, larger size works in progress that I've been working on. So my plan is to post and to get on a regular posting schedule. And so I have some slightly longer form videos focusing on some of the specific projects that I've been working on over the last couple of months. A couple of them I'm hoping to get across the finish line before the end of the year. We'll see how that goes, but I'll put some pictures on the screen to kind of as a little teaser of some of the things that I'm going to be working on. So I hope that you've enjoyed this video and that you feel caught up on everything. I know we're kind of heading into a busy season, but I really hope that you'll come back here again next Monday. Don't forget to subscribe to get notifications if you like the video. That also helps push the channel out. Thank you so much for joining me again. Have a great day.